Okay. Let's see. Make these green. I think what I'm going to do to kind of mark stuff as I go is red probably will replace yellow just to kind of figure something out with a highlighted green. Green is figure out rules for it. Or yellow may change. Or something like that. No, yellow. The yellow should be iffy. Green, I need rules for. I think, let's see, what's another color? Blue will be names. I have 4 actions. Yeah, I think I like that because I think how Space Initiative is going to go thinking about the veteran and the marine ability. Is that ship combat happens first, and then boarding happens at the end. There was an explorer one I thought of, kind of the ranger ability of not being able to get lost. They call it backtrack. R. Your way back to your ship. Provided no so rangers in like 5 years, like unless it's a magical means. We call it mental map. You're able to find your way back to your ship. As long as there's a path back. You're able to find your way back to your ship as long as there's a path back. And that's gonna be like if something blocks your one entrance, you can't find your way back. But or like there's like an illusion spell or something where you may not know. You may find as long as you're not untreated, unimpeded, and unimpeded path back. What was I gonna do? I was thinking like a d20 roll. I get advantage. So I think living in the moment is kind of going to be like messing with skills. Because I do want skills to kind of play an important role in this game. And that's why you can kind of learn you're not stuck with it. Like in 5th edition, skills kind of go by the wayside as compared to earlier games where you can be like, oh, I'm going to actually choose the skills I want. And I kind of like that. You could put points in the skills that aren't class skills, so you can still get a bonus in them. So, but I also want other stuff. Natural talent. Gain. Skill. Gain. Age. When you roll. Skill. Check. Using this skill. I feel like I'm kind of too focused on skills. It's kind of thing like it's giving an advantage. Yeah. Once a day, you can gain advantage on one. See, the thing, yeah, more skill checks. I mean, I don't think that's bad. Because if you're not really interested in using skills, then you won't take this one. I have to kind of feel like I need to make skills more relevant. Like, I mean, I do have skill encounters in here, and skill encounters will be very useful. I mean, obviously skills are useful for skill encounters. And I'm thinking about kind of railroading, not really for forcing, but like coercing DMs into adding them by using abilities, giving classes abilities for it. So yeah, think about it. So that you gain advantage on one skill. On one d20 roll. That way you can kind of do it for attack. It's gonna be pretty powerful and useful. Yeah, I think about skills. Like kind of, I like using them. Again, it all depends on the game. 5e skill checks can be a giant pain because you're kind of set on your skills. But for a game like this, where skills are more, I'm not optional, but like varied, and you can actually choose the skills you want. You can do some cool challenges, and it's a really cool way of doing an encounter where you have to do checks. Oh, and I actually had ability mercenaries did, which is you get bonus to when you create a plan, and then you get bonuses when you actively participate in that plan. Like picture like a a bank heist, if your job is to like lockpick or pick what break into like the safe, you get a bonus if you break into the safe, but if you do anything else, you do not. So you kind of have a plan. As long as you keep on following the plan, you still get these bonuses. And that would be cool for skill checks or skill challenges. And I do kind of want like a space thing too. So I mean, obviously the ace pilot's all about space. I didn't actually bounce in here because I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with them. Explorer has both like land and like space wreckage. Living moment, it's kind of like skills, random general buffs. Veteran is combat. There's some other stuff. Yeah, you kind of get advantage in your first hit, which is not bad. Actually, how do you spell that? Okay, there we go. Hardcore. You can take power, armor, training, as if the ability was in your primary class. And so that soldiers and engineers will get power armor kind of training, and everyone else, I want to say, I'm gonna give them to at level like 3. Maybe level 2. Because I kind of want power armor to be like expensive, but you can actually buff it up pretty well. It's just gonna be a money sink. But for everyone else, like if I make them level 3, you won't be able to get power armor until your rank or level 4. But for this, you can take it whenever, which is, I mean, it may not be powerful now, but like, I don't think right now, but it can help people who want power armor training and don't want to wait. What was I going to do? I'm going to make this yellow because I'm not sure. Because I remember thinking about this, like, some of these weapons you can get are nation or racial tech, and how can you get that? Well, this will allow you to get it regardless of your affiliation. It's kind of funny. Already the outlaws kind of seem like a money thing. It's kind of like really rogue. Because these first black market buy and payoffs require you to have money to spend. but what is that word? I don't even know how to spell it. Commodeer. Commodore. Commodore, that's not what I want. Okay, it's command ear. Okay. So basically, one thing that I need to be worried about is that I'm unlike Starfinder. I want to keep one type of currency, and I understand why Starfinder did what it did because the price difference is crazy. So that will be a challenge. We're gonna have to figure that out, and I'm gonna try my best not to do multiple currencies. But stealing ships and selling them is always a choice. In Starfield, they really basically made it so like it didn't. You had to register it, then you could sell it, and it was not really worthwhile. I want to make it so this is an option, but you won't get the full value because things break. So and I'm gonna maybe change it, but selling or scrapping a stolen ship sells for um sells for half, actually for 50% of its value. Yeah, instead of its normal 25%. I don't know why I put the percent in front of the number like a dummy. Again, outlaws about money. You know, the shoot first probably would be a cool outlaw ability. Student is weird. Oh, right. Basically, student is not a proficiency, kind of like I was thinking Pathfinder 2, where like you're like standard, expert. No, student is a rank in my training system or learning system. So think that's fine. I do think shoot first. Honestly, I like this as an outlaw ability way more than a human. Because with the humans, I kind of want. I want to get away from the whole humans are like versatile, like D&D has. Because I've been doing a lot of like humans are the space work, like Reddit stories. I've been enjoying them, so like that's why they're kind of friendly, multilingual. They reduce environmental effects, natural fires, just stuff. And how they naturally get. Oh yeah, reduce environmental effects and penalties. Because there's gonna be an exhaust system just because. But yeah, I'm gonna take that. Go to outlaw. Make you heading to. Yep. And I'm gonna call this kind word, and I kind of like these names. I mean, I'm kind of having fun with these names. And I don't know how many people would recognize that quote. But the idea that's crossed my mind is instead of using an attack roll, which may or may not be better, what if you do weapon damage? Saying roll weapon, like you crit because obviously they're kind of defenses if you're using this. I mean, the thing is that okay, what was I gonna? So I think crits were going to ignore armor. Again, once I get the bigger picture of everything done, I can kind of weed my way through. But make an attack roll. So thinking about like early game. Yeah, because mental defense, which is what intimidate goes against, starts at 10. So if you're doing like a gun that starts at a D6, you're never going to get it. But if it's 10 plus your weapon damage, you can. And that way you won't crit. Yeah, because if you do intimidate, put points into intimidate plus, it will probably be higher or just as good as your attack roll. But I can also make it so you can do it after you fail normal intimidate. Which would be kind of cool because you rarely get a system where that lets you redo a roll. Once you do redo a check, it's kind of done. It's a cool idea. So and check by rolling your weapon damage and adding 10. This number beats the of your opponent, check, successful. This can be done after you failed and intimidate check against the same target. Make an intimidate check by rolling your weapon damage and adding 10. If this number beats the mental defense of your opponent, the check is successful. This can be done after you fail and intimidate the same target. I was gonna say making defenseless, but like going back to you kind word and the gun, not necessarily defenseless. Ooh. This will be an open. Gonna figure out what style is this. Opening gambit. There's going to be abilities classes get, which can be used at the beginning or during combat, that have a big payoff and a big drawback, but give some kind of cool flavor. One of them, the Star Weaver, can basically knock every opponent prone right off the bat. Or something along those lines, or maybe reduces their actions, but if they fail, I don't remember what it is. Maybe I think they make it so that you don't get your armor for that turn. Basically saying you can kind of crowd control everyone right as combat starts, but you're vulnerable, so you have to rely on it. But, yeah. I think the Envoy had one where you kind of like, you can make it so all your players go first, or if you fail, all of your players go last. It's kind of pretty crazy. Can fire a weapon at an ship. I was gonna say remove shield, but I think stunned is good. If roll up and attack using any weapon ignoring if the weapon with movement are treated as of 0. Basically meaning like missiles, torpedoes, they can take a few turns to get there, but like lasers and stuff, they just kind of hit. But when you're doing this, even missiles just hit. Yeah, because it's like how far it can go. And obviously I may change that, but for that time being. If ship is hit, the ship is stunned. First round combat. Not sure if stun would be the correct. It may be like crippled or something. I need to come up with keywords, and I need to make them universal between both ship and non-ship combat, just for the sake of ease. The first round of combat. If you miss, the opposing ship gets to act twice. First round of combat. So basically a kind of hybrid try-ward. If you're not sure you're going to be fighting, or you kind of sneak up, my biggest concern is that Gambit will replace surprise attacks. But I mean, I kind of want to make it this balance of they're good, but they're not always going to be like the go-to to sneak up on people, or they may just be. Because I don't think there's going to be a lot of opening gambits. I know a final gambit the soldier gets, which basically detonates a grenade on himself. Does crit basically everyone in the blast radius, and regardless of if he's dead or not, he's removed from combat for the rest of the time. So that's cool. Scientist. Yeah, I'm kind of worried about kind of like creep. But obviously, as a person who likes making stuff and who's made custom crafting rules for other campaign game systems, I'm going to make one here. There's kind of reverse engineering, and I want you to be able to make your own parts. So, yeah, I'm going to do the cost of reverse engineering at the cost of DC by 5. And that is going to be subject to change. Yeah. Names. Green is rules. Actually, I'm going to write this down and put it in the galactic corner. Rules for subject to change. And what was the other one? Blue was names. So what's so I think the Stargaze here, so I'm just kind of bouncing around. What was the Explorer called? Mental math. I think it's the same thing. Get lost. Can't see the stars. Kind of cheap. I'm trying to keep them all the same power level, but they're obviously not always going to be all the same power. Like opening Gambit, it's pretty good. Payoffs kind of interesting. Obviously, if you're going to be a soldier with a veteran, powered core is useless, which is kind of why I want more than just 5. But yeah. Well, as you kind of saw in the beginning, I came in with some ideas. I have to figure out these guys, and Bounty Hunter is going to be kind of crazy. But I think I'm going to call it here. I'm just going to do kind of doing more short ones as I'm trying to feel better. But at least I'm plugging away at it. That's kind of the main purpose of me streaming, is to just keep on plugging away. Well, until next